Focus is so important. If you think about how much time we all scroll Instagram, and if we harvested that time and put it into practicing whatever we did, whether it was drums or whatever it is, there'd be so much time. Nothing can really replace you in a room by yourself with no distractions. Just switch off and just find out what you want to do and go for it. Since I was 6, it's drums. I want to be in the, I wanted to play the biggest shows. I wanted to be, an iconic drummer. I wanted to, influence people in the most positive way, make drumming fun, make it cool, and make sure that everyone's happy. Like that's always been my thing. And then the other side of the thing, I was always fascinated by production, design, concert touring, logistics side of it and stuff like that. So I basically got the two things that I loved and morphed them together. I love the drums so much, but I just don't know much about drums. And that's why someone like Jay is so valuable. He was one of the first techs. He did the first arena tour with me in the US. And I told him what I wanted my drums to sound like, what my cymbals to sound like, and it's sound big, punchy, responsive.
My name's Jay Reynolds, out here with the Chainsmokers on the World War Joy Tour. I'm Matt McGuire's drum tech. Yeah, I'm gonna run you through what he's using, and we'll just start right to left. It's pretty consistent. Start right here with this 19-inch Holy China. Moving over here to this stack. It's this XSR 16-inch Ozone. And underneath, this one's it's a custom vault. It's pretty thick. It's got 3 holes cut in it. Over here is second hi-hats. Are the AAX free hats. Nice and thick, have a good chunk to them. Moving over here, this is main crash. He's probably on this more than any other cymbal, including his hi-hats. This one right here is the HHX Complex thin crash. And then over here for his ride, using the HHX Groove Ride, 21-inch. Over here, 20-inch Evolution Ozone, nice and trashy. HHX Sentence Evolution. Main hats are the 14-inch HHX Evolution. Over here on his left, it's a 19-inch HHX Fierce. Pretty thin, washy. It's a great just complement to the rest of them.
There's times where Jay and I jump on the kits. He'll go on the B kit and I'll go on the A kit, and everyone just comes out and watches. We just start shredding. It's really fun. But again, it's just like you have to have fun with it all, and yeah, keeping a good dynamic.
This fun and stuff is the relationship. Is like you're gone from home, but like you're not gone from like the homies and stuff, because we're out here with people we hang out with when we're off time.
There is sometimes we do like 5 back-to-back arenas and then fly to Vegas, and that only really happens, like we're all obviously skilled people and we all take a lot of pride in what we do, but if you don't have that like homie connection and like brotherhood type thing where you can like pick each other back up when you're in some pretty like wild places, it probably wouldn't work. Saying that though, there was a show a couple of nights ago where I totally lost it. I smashed my belt pack on stage. I was like yelling at everyone. What actually happened was it was a hardware failure on the antenna cabina, and when I went up 20 feet in the air on a sold out show, and I was right in the middle of my solo, so I dropped an ear out to listen to the PA, but obviously the delay. And then I went to go for my belt pack and my backup pack, and it wasn't there. It was on the floor, and then Jay tried to give me his pack, but he realized that his pack was dead because it's on the same RF. So we were like literally up in the air, and I was just trying to keep going the best I could. And
I got flaming sticks in one hand.
He had the fire sticks in his hand, so when I went to reach for my belt pack, he sits behind me, I leant back, I knocked into him. I thought I'd knocked him off the riser, so I was like mentally thrown off. Meanwhile, 20 feet in the air, like 12,000 people around us, and I was like, we're truly f***ed right now. But we pulled it off.
We pulled it off.
Times like that happens, but again, like influencing good energy and good vibes across the team. When those situations happen, it makes the recovery so much quicker, and everyone get on with the day. You know, if I like held it over Jay that my pack wasn't there properly, or he almost hit me in the face with 600-degree burning sticks, obviously that's not going to work for the next like 3 months. We're on the road together, and then next year on the road, and then the year after that, you know, it would never work. So we try and iron out things pretty quick.
From being just the drummer to like, he wanted to do bigger stuff, and so with even these 2 years he was driving at, and you know, and gaining a little bit of more control over the show, and then more control, and then now he's like designing the whole show, and so yeah, it's like you look at the point on the wall and you just go for it, lose sleep, don't become like a manic in a sense, you know.
The production on this tour, it was a co-design between myself and Mike 808 from Production Club. On this tour, I'm the show director, musical director for the band, and obviously do oversee all production as well. And the design, it was a 9 month build, spent many millions of dollars, but it turned into something that was, it was what I wanted it to be. If you look at the stage design, everything comes down to the focal point of the Bleacher Preacher, which is the two-stage or two-step riser configuration that we have. Everything was all very important, that everything kind of channeled down, but what was also so important about that was to make sure that not only the drums looked good, but the cymbals looked great, and it always looked somewhat like grand. The visual aesthetic to me as a collective means a lot. Like, I like playing black drums, wearing black clothes. I like that connectivity, and I like the cohesion. It's really like, what does this look like collectively? How does this murdered out black kit with these brilliant, beautiful big cymbals look, where I'm wearing black clothes with white shoes with a black and white background, and then a, you know, the 3M chill film wrap on the 60-foot megastructure look like? Like, how does that all fit? That to me is like a stylistic thing, is really important, and then actually playing very like physical and like in the moment, to me, just ties the whole thing together.